Welcome to Happily Holistic. I'm Amy Lee Mercury, and I'm a medical intuitive with 20 years of experience. I've written 15 books on health and wellness. If you've had a medical intuitive session with me, you know that the thoughts and emotions within you, what has been passed down from your ancestors, and everything that surrounds you can impact your well-being. In this podcast, we touch on my favorite ways for you to improve your health and feel more joy. We dive deeply into everything health and wellness with a big dash of spirituality and a sprinkle of business. We spotlight the uplifting and the positive and share the secret ways top wellness authors and celebrities get inspired, stay healthy, and enjoy this beautiful life. I can't wait to get happily holistic with you today. Hello, and welcome to Happily Holistic. I am very excited to have author Kate Eckman here with us today. Hi, Kate.
Hi, I'm so happy to be here with you, my new soul sister.
I know, I love when we meet soul sisters. So I'm going to tell you all about Kate because she is an amazing person with all kinds of cool stuff happening. So Kate's the author of The Full Spirit Workout, which I'm holding up if you're watching the YouTube. And she's a Columbia University certified executive leadership coach. She leverages her experience as a well-known communication, performance, and mindfulness expert, accomplished entrepreneur, and elite athlete to equip leaders with the tools, methodology, and energetic boost they need to excel. Kate is passionate about mindfulness practices for brain and body health. She's a meditation teacher and course creator for Insight Timer, the world's #1 ranked free meditation app. And you can visit her online at kateeckman.tv. And her new book is The Full Spirit Workout, a 10-step system to shed your self-doubt, strengthen your spiritual core, and create a fun and fulfilling life. I'm so excited to chat with you, Kate. Yay!
Oh, it's going to be so fun. Thank you again for having me.
I'm so glad you could be here. And I think, first of all, let's talk about what led you to this point. You're an elite athlete. You did all these interesting things. So tell us kind of what took you to the point where then you wrote the Full Spirit Workout.
Sure. So I was a competitive swimmer for 17 years, and I knew how hard I had to train my physical muscles to compete at a high level. And as I went about my life, like most of us, quite frankly, I was struggling in certain areas. It was the hamster wheel rat race in New York City, and having this forward facing career where, as a broadcast journalist, interviewing some of the world's most prominent newsmakers like President Barack Obama, Angelina Jolie. I worked as a professional model for some of the biggest names in fashion for years. And then I was a TV presenter and personality in the face of, almost a dozen global beauty brands over the course of my time. And so I was achieving goals, building a successful career, but I was struggling with who is the real me and who am I on the inside? Who am I without all of the accomplishments and awards and achievements and accolades, the 4 A's as I called them. And as I looked around, I saw our culture where everyone was kind of obsessed or is obsessed with the externals, how much money you're making, what you look like, the likes, the follows. And I realized this lifestyle was unsustainable. And it came to a head about 6 years ago when I lost not one, but 2 loved ones to suicide in 1 year. And it really made me look at myself and the way I was choosing to live my life in a whole new way. Because what I realized is that when we place our worth outside of us, we can truly never have enough and be enough. And we may get the shiny object and we're super happy for 15 minutes. And then it's on to the next thing and the next thing and the next thing. And I saw what that mentality did to my friends, and it really scared me. And so I ended up going back to school and studying neuroscience and positive psychology and whole person coaching techniques to really come up with the keys for a better way of living, not just for myself, but for my clients and for people, and to put it into a book. And so my work started to feel much like a physical exercise program, only for the inside, to really build that inner strength and confidence and resilience.
I love that. What a what a story. And just to kind of, look at the pitfalls of modern life and what we, sometimes see with clients and friends, and to think about a better way, a way to serve and to find a positive path that isn't just focused on those achievements and accolades and everything, which is kind of what society's sort of geared around and has been. And gosh, now with like social media, it's more than ever, don't you think?
Yeah. And I had this woman, which I so appreciated because I welcome feedback, but comment on my Instagram post last night about, well, don't you think so many coaches and authors push this hustle culture into work and grind to achieve these goals? And I said, I can't speak for them, but for myself,
Right.
do I work hard? Yes, absolutely. But in a more
Right.
conscious, deliberate, intentional way. So
Yes.
I'm not going to do a 10-hour day of writing or the grind. I do the
No.
meditation. I do my sit and stare stillness time and reflect on
Yeah.
everything and process. And then I'm able to achieve more in a fraction of the time. I'm more creative and
Exactly.
performing at a higher level because of these inner fitness exercises. So rather than
Yes.
trying to force or control, it's about becoming the men and women who can actually achieve our cherished goals. And that's
Yes.
happening in the quiet time, in the rest, in the space
Absolutely.
of surrender, in the stillness rather than the grind and hustle.
Absolutely. And to find that space where we're in kind of feeling and being instead of thinking and doing constantly, and to find the balance, because we need both. We
Yeah.
do need to sometimes push and move things forward, but I don't think it's sustainable to live that way for a lot of us.
Yeah, and I think of this book as an invitation, really. I'm not the drill sergeant, personal trainer
Yeah.
standing over you, screaming what to do.
Right.
Mine is more of a just thought you'd like to know. And this has really helped
Yeah.
me and to achieve the material success that we want while feeling good and while being
Mhm.
focusing on the whole person. And we're not
Yeah.
just who we are at work. We're not just the mom or wife or our friend.
Mhm.
It's really um, nurturing all of us. And some people, I hear, what do you hear all the time? You hear, oh, just be yourself. And I think people struggle with this advice
Right.
because people don't really know who they are
No, they don't.
beyond this public persona, beyond the, polished, put together person
Yes.
that we present to the world. But
Yes.
we are also that messy person behind the scenes just trying to keep it all together. And that
Yes.
person is important too. And I've even been experimenting more with that because I am always used to all the glam, being an on camera person.
Right.
And now, if I'm not on camera, even going to dinner at a nice restaurant in New York City, not wearing any makeup, and it's so liberating. And it's something I think
Good.
back 20 years ago, wearing makeup to bed with my boyfriend,
Oh,
and now being in
yes.
a glamorous New York City restaurant and
Yeah.
having no makeup on in my 40s. And I think
Yeah.
now that is growth and that is confidence and it is liberating.
It is liberating. Totally true too. I remember that like in the early 20s, like, oh, leaving my makeup on to go to bed. Like now I would never do that just because I
Never.
love my skin more than to like do that to it. But we did, we did behave that way and think that way because it was focused on, also I think as women, like being an ornament, that kind of ornamental nature for women especially. And now to be able to just be yourself is a whole new thing, and that's really being yourself, right? It's actually
But who is
being your
that,
true
right?
part of your true self, but figure out who is that?
Who is that? And
Who is that?
examining what we really want. And as a writer, I'm putting the really in italics because
Yeah.
what we want
Yeah.
is often dictated by what our friends are doing, societal standards we don't even believe in, what our
Right.
parents want for us, what
Right.
Julie on Instagram is doing, what Sam down the
Yes.
street is doing. And
Yes.
so we only really discover who we are and what we really want when we shut it all down and
Yeah.
take that moment to, I call it my sit and stare time, and just staring
Yes.
out the window and processing and reflecting and bringing in that divine wisdom or
Yes.
knowledge if you believe in a higher power, bringing that in. So the ego mind is no longer
Yes.
running the show. The ego mind is quieted, and you listen to the truth and you listen to the guidance, and you're able to make decisions from that place. And then you wonder, like, wow, all these negative people have kind of fallen out of my life. And I'm now meeting all these people who, gosh, are so genuinely supportive, and I'm collaborating with them, and I feel energized around them. Oh my gosh, my dream job, they emailed me, the CEO emailed me to work for. It's wow. So this stuff works if you do, but it is like going to the gym. You can't just show up in your cute outfit and expect to be fit. You do have to put in the work, but the results are so worth it.
Great metaphor. That's a great metaphor for it. It really is. That is
because I've shown up at the gym in my cute outfit and sat at the cafe and had a quesadilla, and I'm like, didn't do much working out today, did we?
No, it didn't move you toward that goal. And when we're working with spiritual goals as well as material goals, there's an element, I think, of like leaning back into your spirituality and the divine support that's there for you, and your meditation practice, whatever that might be, in coming into presence. And that is a muscle in and of itself that you do have to work out.
Absolutely. And then you do start to crave it. You start to crave that quiet alone time. And something that I've really mastered, which has paid dividends and my material success, is spending a lot of quiet time alone, turning everything off.
I have to have it.
I have to have it. And even in between each meeting, I really do sit and process. Okay. And I'm finding with clients or friends or relatives, people who don't even give themselves 2 minutes to even consider, whoa, what just happened? Or gosh, I just got really triggered. What was that about? Oh, my value was being compromised. Oh, I was being spoken to in a condescending, disrespectful way. And I really value integrity. So that was upsetting. I may distance myself from this relationship and move in a different direction. But if you don't do that, you're just in a state of anger and frustration. And then you're making decisions from that place. And then you wonder why your life isn't looking or feeling the way you'd like it to.
Exactly. Medical intuitive clients, it's the same thing. I feel like people get into reaction, just like, not exactly unconscious, but not particularly conscious reaction to situation after situation. And that shapes their lives. Instead of stopping, having the luxury to get to stop is another story, by the way, but like stopping and taking the time to make conscious choices to change things or shape things, understanding that we can be the architect of our reality, but it does take some effort and some awareness.
Absolutely.
It takes self-awareness to see that trigger. And then from my perspective as a medical intuitive, to go even deeper with the origin of that trigger, whether it's ancestral energy or, a childhood thing or whatever, and to see how those emotions, those thoughts, and those energies are affecting the health, the physical health. That's the extrapolation. So coming into conscious awareness and doing Kate's full spirit workout helps prevent a lot of that and keep that stagnation moving instead of it building up and all these years of reaction then leading to crisis, or lack of satisfaction. But it takes work, and it takes a little bit more effort, maybe up front, to then live the life that you will be happier with, though.
We'll be right back after this short break.
Hey there, it's Amy Lee Mercury. People have been asking what to expect when you book a medical intuitive session with me. Whether you have had a medical intuitive session before or are completely new to the idea, working with a medical intuitive may be right for you if you are looking to uncover the root cause of one or more mild to moderate health concerns. Working with me is not designed to take the place of seeing an integrative doctor or your chosen health practitioner. The way a session begins is you get to share your questions and concerns. After that, I say an opening invocation, which is adapted from something shared with me by my late medicine teacher about 25 years ago. It invites your highest vibrational spirit guides to participate in the session. These may be ancestors, angelic guides, or other benevolent non-physical beings. After the invocation, I let you know which guides want to talk with you and what they have to say. We address your questions and concerns and find resolutions and answers. If there are health issues, we find the root causes of the issues. To learn more about my medical intuitive work, check out the Work With Me page on amyleemercury.com.
But then think how good you feel afterwards. Even today,
Exactly.
my day is packed, but I'm thinking, okay, just even though I have makeup on and my hair is done, but going to the gym even for an hour and getting some movement in. And again, it's not about, I need to burn these calories so I can look hot in a bikini. That's never my goal. If that's my goal, I will never work out. But for me, it's just getting that movement in. So I feel, and not just physically, but mentally, again, processing and just getting in that flow and feeling fit and strong to get through your day, to do interviews, to work with clients, to be present with your children. Same with our spiritual exercises. And then, like I said, you crave them. I don't go a day without meditating, doing my sit and stare time, doing some of my journal exercises, asking myself the questions, the deep questions that I ask my clients to really get to the heart of the matter. And then when something, because we're all going to fall off the path, we're human, but then when you kind of go off the path a little, you're able to come back to center so quickly because you have these tools, because you have become practiced at listening, and you have these exercises you can turn to again and again, like a best friend.
Absolutely. And to tap into that, I call it, for myself, unfocused time. I have to have it, especially as an ADHD person and somebody with learning disabilities. I need that mentally to balance the focused time. So like a day like today, I'm doing interviews all day, and then I have meetings with my staff people in between and everything. Yeah, there has to be some unfocused time that happens to balance that, to be able to perform at a peak level. And I think that's like what we're skirting around here is peak performance, really. How do we do that? How do we do that? Well, it's an investment in yourself, right?
Yeah, that some people I think still have a lot of shame or guilt around, or I did have a high achieving friend reframe after reading my book. And so, I always used to think if I wasn't achieving something work-wise, I was being lazy or I wasn't doing anything. And she said, what your book and your program has helped me realize is that when I'm doing nothing, I'm achieving rest and relaxation and rejuvenation. And I'm getting clear ideas in terms of what next action steps to take. And I'm feeling comfortable in my own skin, and I feel good in my own body. And so there's really no price we can put on that.
Absolutely. And everyone's definition of what life is for, or the purpose of life or whatever, is probably different. But to me, it's like, at least enjoy it, right? Like, don't be in discomfort the whole time because you're pushing yourself without getting to go into states of ease, states of joy, states of pleasure, and choosing to create your life around that, but still have success and still have abundance, and absolutely be well. I work a lot myself. Like, we're both entrepreneurs, and everyone who's listening who's an entrepreneur knows to run a business, there's pressure, there's a lot, there's long hours, there's a lot that goes into it. But if you have chosen a path where you are choosing joy, pleasure, ease, and that often means, depending upon the person, choosing work that serves you and fills you up, that gives your life meaning, then you get to go into states of peak performance.
And I think we're doing our best work when our work isn't just about us, when our purpose is greater than ourselves. The cause,
Yeah.
the organization,
Yes.
the inspiration for me
Yeah.
that, you know, came from losing 2 loved ones to suicide and working in that space and
Yes.
speaking openly
Yes.
about it, and
Yep.
really honoring them by dedicating my book to them, and to
Yes.
everyone who
Yep.
struggles with mental health, which, as I've learned this past
Absolutely.
year and a half, is
Oh.
absolutely everyone. And
Oh
so really
boy.
honoring
Yeah.
them in that way, and being okay talking about uncomfortable things. And
Yes.
but I find when I'm prioritizing my passion projects like this book,
Yes.
like the working with these organizations who are doing incredible work, I don't care what people think. I'm
Yes.
not concerned what other people are doing. I'm not in the judgment or comparison trap. I'm
Yes.
so immersed in something greater than me that it
Mhm.
feels in that, like, that effortless flow. And you
It
feel
does.
like you're doing something so great,
Yeah.
that you're not bogged down with all the nonsense.
I totally agree. When I was 23, I did a ritual and I made a decision to sort of devote my life to service to the divine feminine, to spirit, basically. And, with the understanding and the intention that that would serve, all life and me, included in that. And it's been a beautiful journey. It's allowed me to have an unconventional life that's abundant and has meaning. And gosh, don't I just wish that for anybody who wants it, to step into your own creative flow and how perhaps you can be of service. Gosh, what a joy. What a joy. And you're getting to find out the joy of, wow, I wrote a book and people are reading it and it's serving. Isn't that like just a unique and amazing feeling?
It is, and it still seems surreal because I'm not caught
Yeah.
up in the, and why I was able, I think, to, write so effortlessly. It was a lot of work, as you know, but
Yeah.
it just flowed out of me, and I
Mhm.
really enjoyed writing it, is
Yes.
because it was for all of you rather than just
Yes.
look at me, I did this. Because it was just about
Yeah.
look at me do this, I would keep my cush TV jobs and,
Yeah.
just cash my checks at the
Yeah.
bank and go out to eat. We were talking about our overpriced New York
Yeah.
City meals here.
Oh my
And
gosh,
so
I know.
I think it's surreal because I feel like I'm just doing God's work. And when I go and
Yeah.
I do keynote speeches and I'm
Mhm.
talking about these things, it's so much work. It's triggering, but
Yeah.
I feel good because I'm doing God's work and I'm making people think about things differently, themselves, their
Yeah.
lives. And I think by just being so raw and real and vulnerable,
Yeah.
people feel safe to be a bit more raw and real and vulnerable, because let's face it,
Absolutely.
we live in a world that is all about appearances, and
Yes.
you better pretend. And that's why sometimes I'm thankful for my friends who invited me over when their kid was 5 days old. And I was just, my friend's like, I think I traumatized Kate forever. I don't think Kate's ever going to have kids after experiencing the stuff that was going on with a newborn.
Right. With
She
the
said,
newborn.
told her husband that she traumatized me. And it did a little bit, because what do you see? You see these women who are like done up and they're like
Yeah.
cooking and like being this like sexy partner to their husband, and they've got the kids, and but then the reality behind the scenes is anything
Yes.
but that. And I
Oh
just wish
yeah.
we could all be a bit more real with our
Yeah.
struggles and what it's really like versus the beautiful put together
I know.
thing, right?
I know. Hence the land of social media and appearances that we're in. But I think there's a little bit of a, underground current of a culture shift there. I think it'll be interesting to see how that continues to unfold. People like you, talking about something besides that, and people sharing their stories is always powerful. And it lets everyone feel they're not alone too. That
Yeah.
not everyone is in that like perfect little insta moment or whatever. Because life isn't pretty. It can be, but sometimes it's messy. And messy
I
can be
don't
nice
know.
too.
I don't
You know?
know if it's just me, but every time I log on to Instagram, I think, are we still doing this?
I
Because
know, me
it
too.
seems so 10 years ago. And for instance,
agree.
an app like Snapchat, that's kind of gone away. Some
It's
other things have
gone.
gone away. And I think of Instagram, especially when I don't know what's happening, but they, at least for me, they show my posts to so few people because I'll
Oh,
look at the insights
that's
and it's
the
just,
algorithm. They want to
it's
make,
changed.
that's how they make money. That's it.
I think that's what, especially if you're a
Yeah.
business account where they want
Yeah.
you to pay $100 for
They
your
do.
own followers to see your
They do.
post. And it's just, I see everybody kind of across the board and engagement down. And so when I
Yeah.
get onto Instagram, which isn't as frequently, but I really do go in and I invite and encourage everyone to do this, to think
Mhm.
about your intention. And for me, it is to
Yes.
offer some value with a story, some
Yeah.
writing, an antidote, or some fun or inspiration, but
Yeah.
also to get on there and genuinely connect and engage with people. And that's why
Absolutely.
I respond to every single comment. I
Yeah.
respond to the DMs because for me, I look at it as a source of connection. And when I do
Yeah.
it from that space, then I love social media because I'm connecting
Yes.
in a genuine way. But if it's
Yes.
just about going on there and like, hey, look at what I'm like, who cares? Who
I
cares?
know. I know. There was a Saturday Night Live skit, I think, this week that was pretty good. It was like a personification of the different social media apps, and Instagram was like, look at my body, look at my face, look at my body. I mean,
Wow.
yeah, I forget the name of the skit, but I think it was supposed to be like awards for audacity in advertising. It was like a parody, which was pretty funny. And that was like so topical and so on point that, yeah, that's exactly what it is. And it is 10 years ago. I think the same thing. Are we still doing this? But people are still using it because the other ones go away. And I don't know. I don't necessarily want to do dances on TikTok all the time. So I guess I'll do Instagram for now.
Yeah, it's a wild world, but
It'll
this also
shift.
speaks to why it's so important to take the quality time to go within and really block all of this
Yeah.
out and connect with yourself. Because
Yeah.
I
And
go onto
real people.
Instagram and real people, like spending
Yeah.
the time to go out to dinners, which every night this week I have a client dinner or a friend dinner, and just connecting with someone in person
Yeah.
rather than the Instagram. Because I almost found it creepy actually running into someone in my hometown a couple of years ago, and I hadn't seen or talked to her since high school,
Yes.
but she knew absolutely everything
Yeah, they
about
think they
me
know you.
because of Facebook. And I think,
Yeah.
gosh, I haven't even heard from you. You haven't even commented.
Yeah.
And anyway, it was interesting.
I know.
So I'm really giving us
Strange
the little
times.
nudge to call a friend and schedule an in-person meetup and
Yes.
go out to eat by yourself, take a solo trip if you're able
Yes.
to, even if it's just, in the neighborhood, and really start getting back and connecting, taking that walking meditation
Go in
nature
and turn off your phone. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Definitely. All of that. That makes me want to go do that. And I have more interviews first, but then I think it needs to happen.
Yes, absolutely.
I'm so glad we got to chat, Kate. I feel
Me
like we
too.
could
This was
chat
so fun.
forever. I know.
And I can feel your audience. You have such a beautiful community. I can feel them smiling and glowing all around us. And I'm giving them a big hug too.
Yeah. And we're so happy that they can be a part of it. I mean, that's the fun part. It's like we get to have a conversation, but then we get to include the audience in it. And we, of course, love for you guys to comment. You can comment on the Facebook, on the Instagram, especially. I think we're both on there a lot, in spite of us just knocking it. And I always respond to every comment too. So we would love to get to engage in that way. And I'm so glad we got to chat. You guys can find Kate's book, The Full Spirit Workout, everywhere books are sold. Kate, your website is kateeckman.tv, correct?
You got it. And you can check out free book meditations and sign up for the newsletter, get other free goodies over there. So please take advantage of that. And I can't wait to connect with you.
Yay. And what's your Instagram and Facebook and all that for our social friends?
It's just Kate Eckman, KateEckman. So find me there. Tell me you found me here. Let's stay connected. I always follow back because I like to create our beautiful supportive community because there's enough craziness out there. So this is a place where we can really connect in a meaningful way.
I agree. It was so good to talk to you. Thank you for being here.
Thank you so much for having me. Have a beautiful day.
You too. And thank you all for listening to Happily Holistic. Have a joyful day.
Thanks for listening to Happily Holistic with me, Amy Lee Mercree. You can find out more about the show on amyleemercree.com on the podcast page. Please stop by your favorite social platform and leave me a comment. I'd love to hear how you liked today's show and what topics you'd like me to cover in the future. Come find me on Instagram and Facebook at amyleemercree.com. If you would like to see what a medical intuitive session with me is all about, hop on over to the Work With Me page on amyleemercree.com. Until next time, stay happily holistic.